Can we beep out stuff?
Excuse my French, but I'm sure you'll understand when you see it. Gigantica, I'll give you the rundown. 35 acres in size and home to some of the biggest carp in Europe, some of which I was lucky enough to catch myself when I was here 15 or so years ago. These carp, along with myself, have put on a fair few pounds since then, with one in particular climbing to a potential record weight of nearly £100, the Immaculate Common. I've got 7 nights to catch some of the biggest carp in Europe.
This is my return to Gigantica Main Lake. Yes! The old Immaculate down the old left-hand edge. It's middle of May, it's prime time, they're showing, and I'm here, and I can't quite believe it. Now, I'm on a trip with a group of guys that I've never met before. Got any of them hormones? It's recording it. There was a space that became available. I jumped at the chance when I got offered it. I've met all the guys this morning, lovely bunch of lads. They fish here regularly. They've welcomed me with open arms. I went in the draw of everybody else. Now, obviously on the way down to any trip to France or wherever you go, there's always that anticipation, that anxiety of, am I gonna get a good crack at the whip? And sure enough, pulled ball free, and I'm here in the Alamo, which is a fantastic peg. It's got a lot of water, a lot of good water. There's a lot of fish showing in front of here. All I've got to do now is get my gear set up and reckon I swallowed a fly. This could be one epic week's fishing. I need to get set up.
With a couple of hours of daylight left, I wasted no time in establishing my opening gambits. My plan of attack was slightly different to how I'd approach a session back at home. I found a nice clean area a couple of rod lengths short of my boundaries at 31 wraps. Although big enough for 3, I only put 2 rods on here for now. The third rod I decided to fish much shorter on a spot I could bait easily and consistently with boilies via a throwing stick, something completely different to how I'd be baiting up the longer spots. Just like I would at home, I knocked up a mix consisting of crumb boilie, a few whole boilies and corn. And with the amount of big fish in here, I didn't hesitate to put plenty in, around 25 spoms worth.
That'll do. We out. It's the end of the first day, and them rods could not have gone out any better. They're absolutely perfect. Simfish all around them. Obviously the anticipation is there constantly that if one of them does go off, it could just be the Immaculate Common. We've had a lovely sunset this evening. It's been a really, really long day of travelling, but who knows what the rest of the week's got in store. Like I keep saying, there's a massive common in here to go for, but you've also got an incredible backup stock as well. So yeah, who knows what the rest of the week has got in store for us. Good morning, and it was quite an uneventful night on the rod front, but it did mean that I had a good night's sleep, which isn't all bad, I suppose. There's been plenty of fish showing. One of the rods I've wound in, committed to a zig. The guy to the left done exactly the same. He chucked it out and it almost went in his hand, and he's got what we believe is a 70-pounder on the first morning. So it just shows that one bite really can change the week completely. And as I've just witnessed firsthand there, if you chuck a zig at them and one decides to take it, there's every chance you could catch a fish of a lifetime. So I'm going to sit here, chill out, enjoy the rest of the morning, and we're going to go down and we're going to see that unit. Oh. Well done, mate. Thank you.
A carp known as 2-time, just under 72 pound on the scales. Amazingly, I actually caught this one when I was last here 15 or so years ago at 54 pound, so it was nice to see an old friend.
Well done, mate. Very good. Go down. Hit the clip. Lovely. Well, after seeing that 70-pounder on the bank, if I wasn't already buzzed up, that there is enough inspiration to just come back and just try your absolute hardest. I've redone the rods and I'm sticking long. Now the guy had that fish on a zig, and there's also been a couple of other fish caught on a zig, but I'd love to catch a 70 pounder or even bigger. I know he's had it on a zig, but I think if you're going to string a few bigger ones together, it's going to be fishing down on the deck. But like I say, you are only ever one bite away from a fish of a lifetime.
They had arrived in numbers. With every spod that erupted on the surface, a carp wasn't too far behind. It's not every week you find yourself in this kind of situation, so I went all in, emptying a whole 17-litre bucket of bait onto the spot. Only time would decide whether it was the right or the wrong call.
Oh, I don't even know what to say. Them rods went out bang on, and we sat back down, and I just said to Kai, you know what? They have gone out so perfect, it's got to happen. And sure enough, the right hand rod on the bait has just ripped off. Well, I say ripped off, lifted up tight, but it was obviously on its way, and I'm bent into a main lake carp. I'm shaking. It's close now, Kai. Go on, go on. Yes! 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 Welcome back to the main lake. Go on, boys! Always have faith and trust in what you know works. One trick pony, but it's a good horse to have in your stable. Fucking shaking, I am.
With the carp resting safely in the net, I quickly reeled in the zig and swapped it over to my bottom bait setup, a spinner rig with a krill dumbbell attached to it. Considering how quickly I received a bite after putting in a lot of bait suggests the carp are feeding in numbers, so I needed all 3 rods in that area. You never know what that next bite could be. Before I had a chance to get that carp out, the long rod was away again. Properly away.
What did I say? One trick pony, but it's a good pony to have. Accurate baiting, at range, rod back out. Before we can even deal with that fish, we're in again. Oh wow.
I couldn't believe it. In the space of half an hour, everything had changed and it felt like we had cracked it already. It just goes to show that the smallest of changes can make the biggest of differences. Yesterday I was fishing a wafter with a bright topper over the top of a much heavier, sloppier mix. But after landing a bream at first light, Ben the bailiff suggested ditching the topper and committing to a simpler mix consisting of straight boilie and hemp, and it's safe to say the carp were absolutely loving it.
Come on then, that'd be lovely to see you go in the net because you're a scaly. Yes! Double bubble. We literally said as well if we can get an original. Well, how about that then? My first main lake carp for over 15 years. Just over 32 pound. And I know I've said it a few times already, but the biggest in here is 3 times the size of this. And you know what's even better about this carp? Is it was closely followed by my second carp, because in the net I've got one of the main lake originals, which would have been swimming around when I fished here all those years ago. But just look at that. The future's bright. I don't really know what else to say. Unbelievable. Long range spomming, 2 rods over the bait, double take. How about that? On the way down here, me and Kai were discussing if we could get some bites this week, to catch an original would be simply unbelievable. Check that out, 26 pound and 12 ounces of Main Lake original. And I know I keep referencing when I was here before, but this fish has been in here all them years before I fished it and all them years since, and so much has gone on in my life in those past 15 years, and I'm sure a lot's gone on in this fish's life as well. A real piece of Main Lake history. Look at that. Feel all big carp, I do.
I was over the moon. To have gotten off the mark so early on in the week was a massive relief. Just on dark, I freshened up the rods and followed with a few spods. The spot was rocking, the wind was blowing and the full moon was glowing. The excitement levels were through the roof. It felt like Gigantica was about to go mental.
Thank you very much. Felt really, really good last night. We had a bit of a storm roll in, air pressure change. The area I'm actually in, the Alamo, isn't really known for night bites, but the weather was that good. I sort of half expected something to happen through the hours of darkness, but there's a lot of fish out there showing. Taking a little bit of line there. Just going to keep the rod nice and low, and hopefully I can show you another Main Lake carp. So nice when you get something going, especially when you're out on a long trip like this. There's nothing worse than sort of flitting around, trying different things and getting it right maybe towards the end of the week to get something going at the start of the week. It means that I can build on this now and just hopefully carry this on throughout the duration of our trip. And I always say our because me and Kai have come out here together and it is a big team effort. So I'm going to concentrate on this and hopefully we can see another carp. You seen it?
No, I don't want to say anything.
Yes! Kai! Can we beep out stuff? Kai! Oh, I'm shaking. Flipping the size of it. I need a 5-minute go. Bruh. Yes, mate. Yes.
A big old Gigantica original in the net on the third day. A 19-year-old me wouldn't believe you. I still got the rod back out like I would do at home, and I'm bloody glad I did.
So I'm ready. That is away as quick as the lead's got to the bottom. Unbelievable. What can you say? I don't know. Look at that. I literally chucked this out. It went a fraction left, and I mean a fraction left of where I've been fishing. And I chucked the other rod out. As that lead hit the water, this one pulled up tight. And I'm in. I've been told to mention that it is actually the full moon. There's only one moon. Half the moon. Here we go. One of the quickest bites you'll probably ever see in the net.
With another carp in the bag, it was finally time to check out this mega old scaly mirror.
Check this carp out. One of the old ones, white lines, 57 pounds and 4 ounces. It's even got a bigger belly than me. This was one of a couple of bites this morning. Over the bait, out long. Everything seems to be working, and you just never know what that next bite could be. But look at that, 57 pound of main lake mirror carp. Thank you very much. You beauty. What a carp. Off you go, big dog. Yeah! Oh, your back hurts.
That back was only going to get worse.
I mean, again, a group of lads come round that are fishing on the lake as well. And it's also worth mentioning, you know, these trips are not just about coming out here and catching carp, big carp or a lot of carp. It's the people that you're on with as well. Now, I'd never met any of these lads. And if I have met any of them before, I'm apologising in advance for forgetting them. But I've never met any of them before. And they're a real welcoming bunch of lads. You know, guy next door had a 70 yesterday. And I'm probably just as happy as him to see him catch that fish. And I think that's the same with all of the boys around here. And that's what makes these trips. You know, it's not just about catching them yourself, it's about sharing the moments. Like I say, they're all round here now, and they could be in their pegs fishing. It's a holiday after all. Although I've got to tell my missus I'm working.
Speaking of the lads, Harvey, later nicknamed as Spooner's dad, was also off the mark with a carp known as Shoulders. An unbelievable fish that of course resulted in a bucket.
Go on, get up. Ah, thank you, boys. That's a nice fish, that. Well, you've just seen one of the Gigantica originals, but how's this for one of the stockies? Just over 44 pound, and the biggest of that mad flurry that I've just had. And I'm gonna commit all 3 long, but just check that out. 44 pound of amazing main lake mirror carp. I'm simply just blown away. Wow, unbelievable.
I will choose a rhythm you can dance to and write a song that only you can sing. Anything to make you happy. Silly sentences to hear you laughing.
Like I keep saying, even if I hadn't have caught what I've caught up until now, you fish your hardest right up until the very, very end. Because a lake like this, it really does only take 1 bite. Lovely. And I've got another bite.
Honestly, this is probably one of the best days angling I've ever experienced. It was like I was in a dream, and the fishing was so simple. A spinner rig made up with a size 4 crank barbless over lots of boilie and hemp. They just couldn't get enough of it. And neither could I. I landed another one just before reeling the rods in to go and have dinner with the lads, and that was just what I needed after 7 bites in a day from Gigantica. Even that sounds surreal. After getting the rods back out, I quickly realised I should have used the toilet beforehand.
If this is the Immaculate, I'm gonna kill him.
Fortunately, Kai was on hand.
Hello?
Hi mate.
You got one on.
Alright, coming around.
Right.
So I cut the Call of Nature short and whizzed back round.
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet, but the last few fish I've caught have been the more stocky ones, and it definitely feels a little different. So I don't know what I'm attached to here, but all I need to do is to concentrate, and hopefully we can get this in the net, because this would end what has been an amazing day's angling.
At £37, the 8th fish of the day was an absolute stunner, and the final carp to grace my net on day 3. I topped up the spot before going to bed full to the brim with confidence. Surely the rest of the week was to follow the same script. Right? The night passed uneventfully, as did the morning. But for Neil next door, I can't say the same.
Put it there. Well done, mate. That's a buzz, isn't it? Seeing someone catch a 50-pounder. Have a look at this as well. 53-pounder.
I couldn't believe my eyes. Armadillo at £53, and only the 3rd time this carp has ever seen the bank. Some carp are once in a lifetime carp, and this is one of them.
After seeing what I'm sure you will all agree was one of the best looking carp that swims anywhere this morning, the day's just flown by. Nothing has happened at all on the rods. The lake looks a little bit different to yesterday, but you can't divert away from what you're doing and what's been working. I'm going to go in with exactly the same approach tonight. I'm going to redo 2 of the rods on the bait. I'm going to put 15 to 20 spoms over the top, but I am going to put one on a zig. There's been a lot of activity of sort of fish moving and swirling a lot further out from me, and I just think that with the heat that we've got now, they might not be dropping down as frequent as the week goes on as what they may have done in the earlier part of the session. So that's the game plan going into the night. I'm not going to change anything that I'm doing. I caught well on it yesterday, and there is absolutely no reason why it won't work again.
With the rod sat pleasantly poised and a zig now dispatched into the swim, I went to bed once again full of confidence. Even with the lack of action in the last 24 hours, surely today was just a one-off. Right?
Patiently waiting on my dreams to come true.
Right, if you catch Fred,
Yeah.
you have to do a skydive. I'll pay for it.
2 things then. A, I hope I don't catch Fred. And B, if I do catch Fred, I hope that I can't go up there because I'm too big to jump out of a plane. Mate, I am not getting in one of them things. Have you seen, just the pilot in the plane is crazy enough, and I'm not jumping out of there being held up by a Tesco's carrier bag and 3 lengths of shock leader material. It's not happening. You could go out of it, you'd be sweet, you would. Little dog poo bag and you'd be floating back down to earth like that. You'd not get me up there. Or if they did drop me, I'd have to be over the water in case the chute didn't open or it malfunctioned. Yeah, Fred can carry on swimming.
I bloody hope we catch Fred.
Fred can carry on. Crack on, Fred. On you go.
All jokes aside, the chances of catching any carp was looking slim, and we found out exactly why. It became very obvious that the carp had done the off, moving to an area of the lake fished by Alcatraz, Baxter's and the beach. It was now Wednesday and we hadn't had a sniff since Monday. With the lake full, we couldn't move either. We just had to sit tight and pray that they moved back over us at some point. But I'll be honest, it wasn't looking good.
Wednesday night is barbecue night, and whilst nothing's happened on my rods, one of the lads who's fishing in one of the pegs that's close enough where you can leave your rods out and go and socialise, he's just had a bite, so no pressure, but we're going to go and see it. So he's got to land it now.
Now, do you want me to do your hair?
Man to that fish.
Yes, boy! 1, 2, 3.
Although it was dead in the Alamo, I was just as happy seeing the other lads' success. This is what carp fishing's all about, a group of mates all just as happy for each other's results. One thing worth mentioning, the carp Darren landed were all on zigs, sparking an idea that at the time I felt could get us out of the lull that we was in.
Wonder boy.
With Wednesday over and only a few nights left, could we turn the tables just in time for Big Fish Thursday? Yes, my first bite in over 48 hours on the morning of Big Fish Thursday too.
Yeah! And that bite right there is living proof why on these long trips you never ever give up. Even though it was quiet and I couldn't see where the next bite was coming from, chucked a zig out, we made it happen. Come on! Lovely times. Lovely, lovely, lovely. After a couple of quiet days, I decided that one of the rods was coming off of the bait and going out on a zig. Yesterday, whilst we were having tea, one of the lads had 3 fish really, really quickly on a zig. So I thought, you know what, if he's had them on zigs, it's clear that they're not down on the bottom and they're definitely up in the water today. Traditionally as well is Big Fish Thursday, and whilst this fish is over 30 pounds, there is one in here that's 3 times the size of this. We've had a bit of a change in weather as well. We've got a really nice, strong northerly wind, and I always think, especially when fishing zigs or fishing in general, a wind definitely helps to get bites. I don't know what it is, I just think it sort of breaks up the noise that's going on around, and I think that we could be in for a good solid end to what has already been an amazing week's fishing. Lovely.
Landing that carp was a relief. With today being Thursday, we only had 2 nights remaining to get the absolute best out of our return to the Big G. And just like what happened on day 2, they turned back up in numbers. It seemed that the bulk of the carp that was in front of Alcatraz yesterday had moved with this new northerly wind, finding themselves out to my left around 31 wraps out. Time was ticking, and with every show I became more and more restless. Surely it was just a matter of time.
Hey, hello mate.
Well done, Rick. Deserve that, mate.
There's another one there to Rick, who's next door. He had a 70 on the first morning, and that's his first bite since then, so that's a really good sign, and it's off the bottom as well. Oh, my foot, shoes come off. I was down in Rick's. God, I'm so unfit. I was down in Rick's peg. I had a little nibble on my zig. I plodded all the way down, and I'm in on the zig again. Big Fish Thursday is not over yet.
I simply couldn't do anything with this fish. The harder I pulled, the harder it pulled back. I had no choice but to get down the left-hand margin before it wiped out Rick in oblivion.
Look at that. just over £38, and it is looking prime. It might have been a bit of a lull throughout the middle part of the week, but it definitely is looking like the end of the week with this wind. It has stirred them up. Again, this was on a zig, so now I've got a definite game plan for the rest of my trip. 2 on the bottom, keep that one on a zig, because these are bonus fish. There's a lot of big fish out there showing, and it ain't over until it's over.
The zigs were proving an absolute game changer. 20 foot of 11-pound zig line to a size 6 crank barbless was all it took.
Another late bite on the zig. I was just putting the bait out over the distance rods. Had one little bleep, looked down, and as is always the case with a zig, you get that little initial indication, and it just pulled up tight. We're into another main lake carp. But the good thing is I managed to get my 2 bottom rods out bang on. Felt really good drops on them as well, which is important. You know, that shows to me that the bait that I'm putting out there, whether I've caught off of it over the last few days or not, something is out there and it's keeping that spot clean. Topped up fresh, 2 rods on top of it, and we've got another one on a zig. Life's good. Big Fish Thursday. 2 hours left of it yet.
The carp were here. I even landed another 40 just on dark. To be honest, my return trip to Gigantica couldn't have been much better. I went to bed full of reflection for what, at this point, had already been a week's fishing I wouldn't forget. But this was Gigantica. I'd have been crazy to think it was all done and dusted. The morning of the final day was quiet, just the roaring of the stove and the singing of the birds making any noise. The afternoon was the same, nothing, not a sniff. It seemed our luck had run out and the carp had done the off again. Over to the baited spot.
Persevered with this bait, and this is the first bite I've had on here since Monday evening. So it just shows that sticking to your guns, keeping that bait going in, them fish know where it is and they will always go back to it. And it's almost now like they've gone full circle and they are back where they started. Like I say, it's the final full day. There's still time for something even more special to pop up yet. There's a lovely fish. Go on, my son, on the old bait. Yeah! Cheers, lads. Lovely. Been crazy, that. First common of the trip. Not so common.
A bite off the baited spot was a good sign. If we could get both the bottom rods and the zigs producing, who knows what may happen on the final day. I rolled back the clock to the second day and continued to bait. If they were here in numbers, there'd be no reason why we can't have a repeat of Sunday and Monday.
Well, if this is the carp I finish on, what an amazing week it has been out here at Gigantica. £45 and 6 ounces of glorious common carp. But I've said all week, it is Gigantica and it can always throw you that one last curveball. You just never know what's coming next. Beauty.
Gigantica putting gigantic smiles on all these faces. Some things never change.
You can hear everyone in here having a good time, but you can't help but look at all of these photographs that are around us. There is just so many amazing carp in here. One more off of the wall before the end of the week would be an absolute dream come true. I've said all week, it is Gigantica. You fish your hardest right up until the very, very end, and it ain't over until it's over. One more off of the wall before the end of the week would be an absolute dream come true. Good shit.
I'm sure it's central.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't really know what to say. I said a few hours ago with that amazing comment that it is Gigantica and it's not over until it's over. Well, let me tell you now, in this retainer down here is something very, very special. I feel like just roly-polying straight off the front of the platform. No, I'd sink. Yeah! Yes! Well, we said that Gigantica could possibly throw us one last curveball. I don't even know what to say. Check that out. One known as the Centurion, 55 pound and 2 ounces. My new personal best French common. On the way down here, if you could have scripted a session, dreamt a session, this would have been it. Totally lost for words. Don't even know what to say. 55 pound common. One of Gigantica's finest. One final look at what is undoubtedly the best looking common carp I have ever caught. 55 pound of main lake awesomeness. Not really a lot else to say really, is there? All I can say, thank you very much for watching and I'll see you on the bank sometime. Yes! Yes! Get on. Yes!